Hello and welcome to the WIHS Journal, Public Affairs from 104.9. I'm Paul Kretschmer. Today we'll hear about American manufacturing and consuming in America as well from 3rd District U.S. House Representative Rosa DeLauro from Connecticut.
It's a warm welcome I've seen today, and this is a Made in America breakfast. This is great, wonderful, because that is the topic of the day, but it's also the topic of our time moving forward. We have to begin to make things in America, not just consume in America, but to continue that effort. To the high school kids who are here, we've got Valley, where's Westbrook is back there, and Cromwell is over here. I heard you say it's robotics and manufacturing, but they also told me they care a lot about politics, so that makes me happy and excited as well. But it's wonderful to have all of you here. We need your participation, and we're always inspired by your energy and your enthusiasm, so it's great. You know, the Middlesex Chamber attracts some of the most recognized businesses, political and sports figures across the country, to what is the largest monthly breakfast, this largest forum in Connecticut, providing outstanding networking opportunities, attracting between 300 and 500 chamber members every month. You've had here your speakers, President Clinton, Senators George McGovern, Joe Lieberman, the late John McCain, and my former boss and mentor, Chris Dodd. So countless of my House colleagues have spoken at the breakfast, and Governor Lamont and Dan Malloy, just to name a few. So I'm honored to have been invited to join all of you here this morning, to be among such a distinguished list of past speakers. And it means so much to me. I'm really so grateful for the invitation to be with you. And as I say, it's been a while since seeing you in person, but virtually we were there in 20 and 21. The largest chamber in the state, Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce, is a dynamic organization. Nearly 2,000 members that employ over 50,000 people. And in addition to being an effective, dynamic business organization, you are the voice of business in Middlesex County and the surrounding areas. So I'm eager to hear from you, to take your questions. But first, let me just say a few words about what has been going on in Washington and how, in fact, it impacts Connecticut today. One of the first things we did last year was passing the Competes Act, a historic package aimed at making strategic investments to strengthen our supply chains, to protect our national security, and bolster the U.S.'s economic competitiveness. And it's now more than ever, we need the tools to fight for jobs here at home, to protect our critical supply chains, while addressing key trade challenges that we face. The House-passed Competes Act recognized the need to bring back American manufacturing, fight for good-paying jobs that cannot be outsourced, and it would have reauthorized the National Reapprenticeship Act. While it ultimately did not become law, it laid the groundwork for what would become the CHIPS and Science Act, which addressed many problems facing American workers. I've long believed that we need to once again, as I said, be a nation that builds, not just a nation that consumes. We need to return to an outlook that prizes and supports our domestic manufacturing. We have made critical investments in domestic manufacturing, domestic drug manufacturing, including active pharmaceutical ingredients. And it is long overdue that we bring this home, as we have relied on foreign-based manufacturing for far too long, as was demonstrated in the pandemic. For years, For years, I have supported and introduced legislation, the Manufacturing Reinvestment Act, that would enable America's manufacturers to invest in their business, get a bigger return on their hard-earned dollars. I've worked with local manufacturers across the district, listening and learning from them so that I can address their concerns. Last fall, I joined Jamie Scott, who at the time was Executive Director of Manufacture Connecticut, at their annual celebration to kick off National Manufacturing Month. As manufacturers seek to fill the more than 4.5 million high-skill, high-tech, high-paying jobs over the next decade, these events raise awareness. They inspire the next generation of makers, innovators, and entrepreneurs. Earlier this month, I had the privilege of attending a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new Platt Technical Regional High School. Platt is a leader in the technical education in our state for over 100 years. They attract a diverse population because of their extensive career and technical education programs, rigorous academics, and opportunities for real-world work experience. And as we see the resurgence of manufacturing in Connecticut, I believe that Platt is a model of the kind of school we need to have across our country to restore our manufacturing vitality. Platt is actually where I first met Jamie Scott, when I helped secure funding for Platt's manufacturing training program in 2008-2009, which allowed them to purchase new equipment for the project. More recently, I am proud that in last year's government funding package, we provided more for career, technical, and adult education. I'm proud that we got other critical investments that are creating and sustaining good-paying American jobs through investments in job training, in apprenticeship programs, worker protections. And specifically, we provided $285 million for registered apprenticeships. We funded grant opportunities at the Department of Labor, like the Apprenticeship Building America Grant Program. Programs like this are helping out my friend and CEO at Bead Industries, Jill Meyer, helping her to implement their apprenticeship program. Jill was kind enough to give me a tour of their facilities last year, a global manufacturer that is best known for inventing its manufacturing process called swagging. I've long believed in apprenticeship programs like the one at Bead Industries, just to name one of the several programs that I have had the opportunity to tour. Giving workers the opportunity to earn a paycheck while learning skills that businesses are looking for is simply common sense. These programs allow businesses to create a pipeline of skilled workers, so workers win, businesses win, and our local economy grows. I mentioned the pandemic, but during the pandemic, we realized we had a dangerous dependency on foreign adversaries for life-saving drugs and critical supply chains. We found that 80 to 90% of the active ingredients in our drugs were coming from China and from India. So the COMPETES Act also included the National Critical Capabilities Defense Act that I introduced about 2 years ago. This is a bipartisan piece of legislation in both the House and in the Senate. What will it do? It would establish a whole-of-government screening process for outbound investments and the offshoring of critical capacities and supply chains to ensure that what we can do in the United States is quickly detect supply chain vulnerabilities. It creates a new review mechanism to prevent investments in jobs from going to places like China and Russia. And ultimately, it would make sure that we are not fueling our adversaries, while we are, in fact, safeguarding American workers and American jobs.
That was Rosa DeLauro, U.S. House Representative from the 3rd District of Connecticut, at the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce breakfast meeting recently. For further information, call us at 860-346-1049. 860-346-1049. Opinions expressed are those of the participants, not necessarily those of the staff and management of the station. I'm Paul Kretschmer on the WIHS Journal, Public Affairs from 104.9 WIHS.